people of southern Cameroons, my dear people of Ambazonia, my fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, this Sunday, November 24, 2024. I'm delighted to be here today for us to have yet another thought-provoking conversation about our liberation movement. I am delighted that, a lot of you have been setting aside time to be on this platform so that we share this so that we overshare, information, so we get these exchanges, and so we can work together to see how to, speed up our liberation movement, speed up our freedom quest, and get La République du Cameroon out of our land so that so that we can minimize the number of people whose lives are being wasted on a daily basis by talks from La République du Cameroon. That said, my people, I'd like us to begin our conversation today around this thought. Never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. I take this over because it's very important when it comes to our liberation movement. Never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. You see, too often we just say jokingly that the truth, seek the truth. And when you know the truth, that truth will set you free. There are too many things that have happened in our liberation movement. Just too many things that have happened and gone wrong because people who knew the right thing to say, who knew the truth, who knew that the path that we were taking at some particular point in time were the path of perdition, and whose voices could hold this thing and get a lot of people who were following blindly to change course. The people stayed quiet. They never spoke. And the consequences of all of that are here. It's the cacophony that we have witnessed in this liberation movement for a number of years, to the point where at times people even venture to think that maybe, just maybe, we will not be able to make it. But trust me, folks, this liberation movement will get to its logical end. We will attain independence. We will attain absolute self-determination. All what we need is make sure we are correcting the errors from the past and focusing on what is right. I said the last time that there are a lot of audios flying here and there. I've now started seeing papers moving up and down. I've seen social media write-ups getting up here and there, people calling each other names. Listen, folks, if we had heeded to that piece of advice a long time ago, that let us get to what worked, even if it is not, exactly what it was, reform it to use it, we would not be at this point screaming. But there are still some people in our liberation movement, even at this moment that I'm speaking, who are still determined to hang on to the same challenging approaches that have slowed us down, slowed our move towards freedom. We need to come out of that slumber and come out of that slumber the fastest possible. It definitely would help us. That is why we must seek the truth. And there are some people too who not only know this truth and don't say it, but they fear to say it. Not because they think that is not the right thing to do, but they fear what the people will say. They just know it, they ignore it, and they follow because they need to go with the crowds. No, sometimes there's nothing absolutely wrong standing away from the madding crowd and making your voice heard. We need to be frank, we need to be honest, and we need to be practical if we have to attain that freedom. Yes, we will attain it, but being frank, being honest, being practical will shorten our journey and limit the damages so that we don't end up with a Pyrrhic victory. Because victory it will be. This one is clear, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. My people of Ambazonia, we have a lot of interesting things to discuss ahead, but as usual, I want to make a quick passage through La République du Cameroon. I always do, because there are a few things in that place that make us laugh, but they always have some little connection, sometimes even a very big connection to what is going on in the southern Cameroons. And sometimes this knowledge is required for some people who are still very heady to understand the need to support this liberation movement, to stand for what is right, to stand for truth, to stand for justice. Just take a look at what I have on my screen. This is, I feel like laughing, but let me not laugh. You see, this is a clear signal for those who are still doubting that exoteric powers were in control in the République du Cameroon. Now you should see that exoteric powers are reinforcing their grips on la République du Cameroon. Sometimes you have wondered why things are just going west, things are just going north, everything getting terrible, prices of goods and the basic commodities going north, everything just going rough, life getting so complicated and difficult by the day, and the people cannot cough. The people just keep swallowing, just keep taking, just keep gulping. You ask them what is going on. It is because of this mix. Look at this, is a decree signed by Mr. Paul Biya. And this decree says, Mr. Manauda Malachi, or they want to call him Malachi, Mr. Manauda Malachi or Malachi, Minister of Public Health, he will effect from the date of the signature of this decree, authorized to wear on the entire territory the signs of the cross of commander of the order pro merito militancy of the order of Malta. My dear people, they say on the entire territory, according to them, they are extending to Amazonia. Listen, this is the darkness that I've always talked about in the Republic of Cameroon that we definitely must flee from. I've said here before a lot of the times that anytime you are unevenly yoked with a people who are lost in the real sense of it, you too, you will end up being lost. That's why you see those southern Cameroonians who represent about 1.5 or maximum 2%, who have sold their souls to La République du Cameroon and belong to that crime syndicate called CPDM, that contraband called CPDM. Those people, they are no longer normal people. They don't reason straight again. They are thinking, their mind, that everything is in another world. They are no longer of this world. That is why no matter how much you sing or how much the people suffer or how much their people die, they can never raise a little finger. They can never raise their voices. All they keep saying is amen to Mr. Paul Biya. Amen to Mr. Paul Biya. That's all they know to say. And that's exactly what is happening to their citizens. You look at it, you ask yourself, but if these people were all one people, why is it that southern Cameroonians are more prone to rising, to resisting, to saying no, to saying we cannot, this cannot work, to say, I've said here before that there was a time when Yaoundé took very unpopular decision. People say, est-ce que Bamenda va accepter ça? Bamenda is even southern Cameroon. It's not stricto sensu, but the city of Bamenda. Est-ce que Bamenda va accepter ça? Because they are helpless. There is nothing they can do. So they relied on people who are still courageous, who still have all their senses in place, who still have the notion of what economic development, of what freedom, of what real good governance, of what democracy is all about. My people, we have tried to change and help them. Over the years, it never worked because they continue to play the drag. So today, now that we have come to the conclusion that we were first of all not one, we never even had to belong in the first place, and we need to go our separate ways. That is when some are getting over and trying to let us know, oh, you see, this thing you can fix. There is nothing you can fix. There is no way light and darkness will cohabit It doesn't work. If it is the time for light, it will chase away darkness. If it is the time for darkness, light will give way. That is what it is. So, my dear people of Amazonia, this is not foreign news. This is not stupidity. No. It concerns you, it concerns me. Because living in a setup which is controlled by the spirit world negatively, don't get me wrong, negatively, because the entire Republic of Cameroon is under esoteric control, the control of evil powers that only come in to men, to steal, and to destroy. We don't have to belong. And look at something was interesting about this headed paper when it said, le président de la République, vu la Constitution, vu l'ordonnance numéro 72/24 du 30 novembre 1972 portant réorganisation des ordres nationaux et de la grande chancellerie de la République unie du Cameroun. You see, sometimes it's difficult to really overcome or to really conceal truth or conceal history. When I make a reference here that there was a time it was called République unie du Cameroun. Because when one talk, they say it's one and indivisible. All these things and all, they mark epochs. Epochs, just how gradually they were assimilating us and hoping that we never ever raise a little finger to reassert whom we are. My dear people, in such a setup, never ever expect that you are going to see development. Never ever expect that anything will change. Never ever expect that you will have a good life. If you were still doubting that there is some need to kick La République du Cameroon and their evil, demonic, genocidal regime out of our land, then the time for you to think is now. While they are putting all of those things, you ask, are these people normal? They want to turn around. I saw this picture. I said, oh, good, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Look at this. This is road maintenance. You are seeing those people in front of a pothole. Don't look too much. Don't be asking yourself, but which quartier is this or whatever. No, it's not some isolated neighborhood somewhere. The man standing in the middle there by the gentleman with the helmet, with the white helmet, is Ngano Jumesi, the Minister of Public Works in La République du Cameroon. You see what they are doing? They are laying the foundation stone for the covering of potholes. My goodness. Can you see that? Foundation stone. At what point do you stop and say this mockery is too much? At what point do you stop and say this buffoonery is too much? Yet, these idiots, pardon my use of that word, really feel that the people of the southern Cameroons should continue to hook up with and confide our destiny into the hands of gamesters like this one, into the hands of visionless people like this one, into the hands of jokers, rascals like this ones. Just take a look at it. Laying foundation stone for the maintenance of potholes. If you're in the United States of America, there's been something going on in this country called Build Back Better. And you see, roads are already so excellent, but they have been scrubbing and redoing them. We never saw President Joe Biden go anywhere or send his secretary for roads or for transportation to go out for this kind of folklore. This kind of things only happen when they take the people for granted. And yes, these are the idiots who are supposed to be managing the roads in the southern Cameroons, like people of Amazonia. We need to make haste. I'm bringing all of this here because I want us to together make the case that if there's ever been need for us to recognize that synergy is the way to go, the time is now. And someone said, it's not just talking. We have to move from speeches and resolutions to action. And by doing this, we must first of all settle down and agree on what approach to take. It's not just those conferences, because candidly, I agree with those who always said we have had enough of those conferences. Right now, we need to go to action. Let's identify what had worked before and go by it. My dear people, if you are just joining. If you have just hooked in, please share the link as much as you can. Let's reach as many people as we can reach so that this information and communication campaign, this discussion session should spread as much as possible, and we'll have a lot more people participating in the debate on exactly how we hasten our trip to Freedom Land. Meantime, I will urge you, please, there are some Ambazonians, some Southern Cameroonians in very, very dire circumstances. They need help like yesterday. They need help so bad, so bad. They're in a very precarious situation. And unfortunately, I can't even talk about that exact situation here because you'll put them more in danger. And so, therefore, the need is for about $1,380. That's the need to bring them help. And this is urgent. If this touches your heart, I'll pray you just look under the on the code. You see PayPal, Zelle. Use Amber Relief 2018 at gmail.com. Amber Relief 2018 at gmail.com. Through Zelle, through PayPal, you can make a contribution. You are $50, you're $100, you're $20, you're $500. Why not even your $1,000? If it touches your heart and you have the ability, please do something. Let's continue to show solidarity. Our people really, really, really need it. Please. So that said, I'll leave it on the coder for a while so you can be able to, see. That said, I like to move to, when I just talked about that road issue, just take a look at this. I saw this comparison and it was so amazing. You see, that comparison is showing you the state of roads. This is Douala Bafoussam. You look up there, that was 1950, I think in the 1950s. Now, look at the road, Douala Bafoussam, 2024. Just look at it. When you just look at this, you begin to understand the kind of setup in which we find ourselves. Are they going backward? Are they going forward? Do they have a vision? Do they even understand, in what era we are? My dear people of Ambazonia, continuing to stay with La République du Cameroun, even an additional 1 year is just going to be adding our pains and taking us backwards. This is who they are. Look at where they were in the 1950s. Look at where they are in 2024. You almost have the feeling that in the 1950s it seemed better. But where all that is going on and the people are sweating, going through a lot of pains, evacuating their crops from the farms to the market, from the farms to the market, with a lot of the crops getting damaged because there are no roads. What is going on? Look at that government is only interested in taxing, and taxing. Always taxing, forever taxing. In several countries of the world, as the year ends, and they are getting ready to get into a new year, they always give people a period of grace right deep into the new year to declare taxes. Hell no, not La République du Cameroun. But look at the kind of penalties that come in here. One, if after December 2, 2024, you haven't declared your taxes, after that date, that's less than 2 weeks from now, you haven't declared your taxes, number one, you will never be able to get a tax matriculation document. And they have made it impossible for you in La République du Cameroun to go to any embassy and apply for a visa without presenting this tax matriculation document. Two, it will be impossible for you to get any document to show that you have, that you are not owing anything for taxation. That's a tax clearance certificate. And of course, they make it clear, as you can see there, that it will be impossible for you to obtain a visa to go out of the country. I don't know how connected those ones really have to be. Next, it will be impossible for you to open a bank account. And then finally, it will be difficult for you to get any contract with the utility companies, like the water and the electricity and telephone companies, you'll be barred from getting anything to do with this. Now look at, why would the country even attach this to travel visas? Because they know that that country is hell. And since they are aware that that country is hell, everybody is struggling to leave that country. That is why for them, you see that talking about visa was about the third, talking about visa was on position number 3. It will be impossible for you to obtain a visa to go anywhere out of the country if you have not declared your taxes. In which other country of the world do you hear them link issues concerning your tax declaration and all with your ability to travel out of the country? It should tell you. They themselves say, no, that is hell. That's why we need to do everything we can to leave that hell, my people. Like I said, sometimes I get through some of these things just so that we have the opportunity to see exactly the kind of people we are yoked with, because some of this rubbish, they really do connect. They really do have a connection and have a direct impact on our people. Reason we must really do everything we can to kick them out. Now, before I continue, I just received this message right now. It says, good day. It says, something happened on Thursday morning between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. in Malende. Malende is in Meme County, not far away from, I think, not far from Kumba. Malende, that's even around Kumba, yeah. So that's something happened around there in Malende, that's in Kumba, that's Meme County. So it says, a young La République du Cameroon become soldier, that's a soldier of La République du Cameroon who happens to hail from the southern Cameroons, and that's from Boyo, that's from Boyo County in the northern zone. So they say, become soldier in a company of other 7 soldiers was allegedly killed by Amber fighters, that's by our self-defense volunteers. It says, but it is widely believed here now that the action was done by his colleagues of the La République du Cameroon military. Now, there were 7, because when I saw this earlier, and I tried to make some calls down in Malende to get a bit more information. And my informant said the 7 soldiers who were there, 6 were citizens of La République du Cameroon, and one of them was absolutely a Southern Cameroonian, an Amazonian from Com, who was in their company. And so that is why they're embarrassed that, but an attack happened, and that was the only person killed. But upon verification, they realized that our self-defense volunteers have indicated they didn't carry out that act, and so it's becoming very obvious that this soldier who hails from Com was killed by his colleagues of La République du Cameroon. This is not uncommon. This has happened before, and it has happened a lot. And I'm shocked sometimes when I see La République du Cameroon launch recruitment into the military. And you see some of our people, some of our misguided people, still sending their children to go join that military when they know that that is a path of perdition. And too often they'll send them to the front lines where they need to be killed with Boko Haram or in the southern Cameroons so that we kill ourselves. I've spoken about this thing and against it until I'm tired, but our people don't learn. The message goes, it says, I read what they say. Amber boys have refused being present in that area, not to talk of killing anybody. We are here confused what to believe. Following what what people have always said, that La République du Cameroon always use and dump us. So what you see here, this is not the first time. It has happened before. I had the opportunity to talk with some of the people in the military, and who said they were getting too concerned because quite a number of times some of their colleagues, that is, who hail from the southern Cameroons, have gone on missions and just disappeared. Sometimes just saying, oh, maybe they eloped and all of those things. But months after, they discovered that they were actually killed and buried there in the bushes. This has been going on. Yet, our fellow Southern Cameroonians will not learn. I don't know whether it's a drug that I've given to some of these people who don't realize what perils they find themselves in. It's painful, and it really has to be for good reason. Because these are souls that ought to join the ranks and fight for the noble cause of freedom so that we can deliver a free, democratic, prosperous country to our people. That's the sacred mission we have given to ourselves, and we will do everything within our powers to ensure that we get there. And I also got this, and I really feel sorry for the people at Vatican. As you can see, that is fire, which is, which really got a good section of the administrative offices of Vatican, including, I think, even includes a part of the facility that was being used as hotel. It's really sad. That goes out to the people. I'm yet to know the cause of the fire, but I'll not be surprised that, as usual, it will be the apparatchiks, the talks of La République du Cameroun, continue to unleash pain on us as, they have been doing all the time for the past 8 years. That's only what they have done to our people. So I'm not surprised. I will not be surprised if it comes back that that's exactly, the cause of the fire. But meantime, I extend sympathy to the people who have lost property and others in this fire. This is pain. We must continue to stand strong. Now, my people, on to what I started saying at the start of this show. Look, no matter how long you have traveled in the wrong direction, you can always turn around. That's what I mean. No matter how long you have traveled in the wrong direction, you can always turn around. You see, I said here at the start that we have faced daunting challenges in our liberation movement. We have had situations where, some decisions that we had taken have set the scene for a considerable slowing of our efforts at liberating our land. And these strategies have proven over time that they were not the very helpful strategies. And so therefore, there will be absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, absolutely nothing wrong if we decide to pause and turn around and go to something that worked before. In my last show here, I recalled that the experience we had with the governing council was a very interesting experience. It might not have been 100%, but that manner of organization ensured that we never had unhealthy competition. It ensured that we're not really like fighting each other at group level. You could have some minor dissensions at personality level, but it really wasn't this all out that we have today with one group, movement, and organization, and the other struggling to tear down all the others to emerge. When we operated with the governing council, we had all the groups, movements, and organizations under one. The last time I was talking here, and I was recalling the organs of that governing council. We had the executive branch. The executive branch, like I said, that was made up of the president, was the chairman. We actually called him the chairman of the governing council. That was Sisi Julius Ayuktabe. We had the vice chairman, who was Pa Tasang Wilfred Fombang. And then we had the secretary general, who was Comrade Milan Atta. These were the people who made up the executive branch. Then there was the legislative branch that was made up of the Restoration Council. And this Restoration Council at the time was actually manned by those who made up the leadership council of the defunct SCACUF. And so this Restoration Council therefore was made up of leaders. First of all, the de facto members of the Restoration Council were leaders of all the groups, movements, and organizations that made up the governing council. And these were the consortium, the AGOFC, at the time was called the Ambazonian Governing Council, the AGC. At that time, we had as it was SCYL, which transformed later into APLM. We had the SCNC. We had the Republic of Ambazonia, and then we also had SCAPO. I might have forgotten one group or the other, but there were 7. There was more risk. There was more risk. So this made 7. So all these groups, movements, and organizations were under the governing council. Even if you heard some dissenting voices once in a while, would say Comrade Takwanga or Ayaba say, "Oh, we are contesting Ayuk Tabe. How did he get there? How was he elected?" And all of those things are contesting Ayuk Tabe. But this was within. Everyone was within. And anytime an event was called, everybody came. Even if afterwards they will have little disagreements. If you're doubting, look at the September 22 rally in New York. I mean, I was there in New York, in Manhattan. I was there in New York. We went to take part in that demonstration in 2017. Everyone was there. Everyone from all the groups, movements, and organizations. They were all there. And all the activists who were operating under each of these groups were all focused on one thing, on the flag of Ambazonia, on the flag of the Southern Cameroons. That is why, with one voice, all the activists were calling on the people to come out on September 22. That is why we had millions of people on the streets for the World Taekwondo Day, to the embarrassment and utter shock of La République du Cameroon. If you want to know the single day in this liberation movement since 2016 to this date, that La République du Cameroon will never forget in a hurry, that shocked La République du Cameroon, that took them by storm, it will be September 22, 2017. Because besides that, there was the 9th of January, the same 2017, when La République du Cameroon woke up to see the entire southern Cameroons shut down for the first ever ghost town called by the consortium on the 9th of January 2017. But that September 22 was the summon. And this was the fruit of synergy, of us working together. And so that approach made so much sense. Transforming into government led to all what we are seeing today. And eventually, even running head on into something called county by county, LGA by LGA, exacerbated the whole thing. To the point where today, we have people identifying more with the little areas where they are than looking at the whole. My people of Ambazonia, I said at the start that truth is truth, even if the teller of that truth is reduced to a minority of 1. Facts don't lie. Go back quietly, analyze from the time of the 4th conclave in Zaria, when we had the hold up in Zaria. We resulted into the creation, into the formation of a government, or into the imposition of a government. And ask yourself where we are this far. After that, right up to this moment, where are we? We have had mutation upon mutation upon mutation upon mutation. Groups are being exploded. I said here the last time, don't be surprised you get up tomorrow in the morning and hear the circulated IG has become 2 separate IGs again. Because I see things flying all over. All the remainders of the Coopers have done this. People who were operating yesterday like the finger and nail today are at loggerheads. All of these things have continued to go on because we left the real focus that we had to be on. Chasing La République du Cameroon out and when chasing vain power. It's time for us to stop, take a step behind, and ask ourselves which strategy among the numerous strategies we have applied up to this moment, which one worked best? And let us go back to it. We can tweak it, we can reform it to make it respond to the changing times, and then we go back to it and use it to attain our objective. This is my submission. And I will continue to raise this. Because when you look at that, we also had the executive, the legislative, and of course we had the the judiciary. There was also the Judiciary Council that was put in place. And I recall that Judiciary Council was manned by Professor Carlson Anyangwe and had to include, legal luminaries like Barrister Bobga, Harmon Bolton, and others. This is something we need to sit back, think on, and we need to make haste as we work towards this. I really want, first of all, or once more, to congratulate Southern Cameroonians across the world, especially in the diaspora, who have got up from slumber really quickly now and are organizing themselves into communities. Again, so quickly, we can begin from there and then come gradually towards the center and get back to where we were before so that we can hasten our trip to Freedom Land. So that's why I'm saying that I'm excited because the people have got up from slumber and are reorganizing themselves again very fast. And this is very important because there's nothing wrong in falling. It only becomes a problem when you fall and you refuse to rise. But in this case, we are doing everything to get out from the ashes of the challenges that we have faced so that we can re-steady our ship and make sure we give La République du Cameroon the very tough times they have to continue to get from us until they totally get out of our land. Now, there is so much more ahead, very, very important information right ahead, but let's take a quick break and then we will get into those files. Oh wow, that was interesting. Thank you, this group from SOP with that very beautiful number that gave us the room to take an interlude. My people, on my last show, I talked here about the situation of Mr. Roland Ewane, elsewhere divisional officer for Idabato, the colonial divisional officer of Idabato. Although he's one of us, but he's a colonial administrator. And we have told them to please stop having anything to do with La République du Cameroon. I'm talking about it because it's unfortunate how things happen. But on my last show, I had just received information as it came in, and they were announcing that Mr. Roland Ewane was killed already because, like I said, I saw the torture videos. They were so disheartening. Even right up to this moment, I can't even bring myself up to share them here, not only because of the YouTube community regulations, but because, the pain involved is too much. The video is so dehumanizing that I really can't bring myself to, share it here. But again, I have since been investigating the situation to know exactly if after what we saw in that video, Mr. Ewane was really killed as alleged. But I haven't had confirmation really that Mr. Ewane is actually dead. On the contrary, I have some information from some sources indicating that it would appear he is actually still alive, and his handlers are still waiting on the government of Cameroon to cooperate with them for the demands that they have made. And so I really am not confirming anything here, but what I'm saying is all of this are allegations. Even the death, the supposed death, is still an allegation from the findings I'm carrying out. I think I'm getting even more convinced rather that he is alive than dead. And so I think that his handlers sent out that video to show the Cameroon government and the family that they were not joking and that if nothing is done, they will not hesitate to take his life. But you see, what is even so intriguing about that situation is this press release that I have in my hands that was issued by the Cameroon Ministry of Communication. You see, it took the Cameroon Ministry of Communication a long time to issue this press release. This press release only came out when they heard a lot of noise on social media already saying that Mr. Ewane had been killed. And I think they too may even be feeling that he's already killed. And so they're just publishing this press release to wash their hands. But what is even embarrassing in the press release is the language. These are people who sit and tell people that they have two official languages or whatever nonsense. Even just the way it was handled tells you that they really didn't care. This was just an afterthought. And this should continue to serve as a lesson to the people of the southern Cameroons who continue to sacrifice themselves for a country, a system that doesn't care about them, that only wants to use them to attain their purpose, to keep us in slavery and servitude, and then dump them at the first available opportunity. You look at the press release reads, this is a Ministry of Communication, government press release. Kidnapping of the sub-prefect of Idabato. Department of Ndian Southwest Region. Not Ndian Division as we call it, the Department of Ndian. On the night of September 30 to October 1, 2024, at around 2 a.m., Mr. Ewane Roland, sub-prefect of Idabato, a locality located in the Bakassi Peninsula, Ndian Department, Southwest Region, was kidnapped from his home, as well as municipal agent. Wow. Named Etongo Ismail by a group of heavily armed pirate terrorists from a border and neighboring country, according to sources from local administrative authorities. Look, even the government is still not so sure. The government of La République du Cameroon, the colonial government, is not so sure, of the source of their information. They are not even saying that they're giving information from officials, according to sources from local administrative authorities. This is a press release from the Minister of Communication of La République du Cameroon. Look, folks, I know some people say, oh, maybe it's just simple problem of translation. It's just that they might just have made errors. But this is actually signed by the Minister of Communication himself, not some director, René Emmanuel Sadi. He says the government of the Republic of Cameroon strongly condemns this odious, cowardly, and despicable act perpetrated by lawless individuals against representatives of the state. He expresses his deep indignation at the extremely cruel physical abuse, the inhuman and degrading treatment to which this senior civil servant was subjected and which nothing can justify. I say, likewise, the government conveys to the members of the bereaved families, and beyond, to the populations of Idabato, the expression of sympathy and comfort of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya. Finally, the government intends to make it known that everything is being done to preserve the life of the sub-prefect of Idabato as well as his collaborator, and to obtain a happy outcome to this scabrous and unfortunate affair. My dear people of Ambazonia, you are certainly asking yourself which is which here. Likewise, the government conveys to the members of the bereaved families and beyond, to the population of Idabato, the expression of sympathy and comfort of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya. So you see, in one paragraph, that's the last but one paragraph, the government of La République du Cameroon is actually confirming that Mr. Ewane is killed. So that's what I said earlier. They're coming out with this just to wash their hands, to show they did something official, because they're already convinced that he was killed, that he had been killed. And then in the SFI, the government intends to make it known that everything is being done to preserve the life of the sub-prefect of Idabato, the same sub-prefect. Then you're already extending condolence to the bereaved families. My dear people of Ambazonia, look, the lackluster approach the banal manner in which they handle this whole thing should tell you exactly what they think about us. Should tell the family of this colonial administrator what La République du Cameroon thinks about him, his life, and his family. Should tell him this same colonial administrator, certainly, something tells me he's definitely still alive. Because the people I talk to, they tell me there are strong indications he is still alive. So, Mr. Cameroon government, you can't wash your hands off this. You must finish what you started. It's horrible. It's unacceptable. This kind of treatment of humans. But again, it simply falls in line with what I've said here constantly and always. That when you allow yourself to be used by a genocidal system against your own people, they will never respect you. They will never respect you. They'll only use you and dump you. They'll only hail you while you are available to be used. If you are doubting, ask all those bloodthirsty demagogues who are members of the CBD crime syndicate, who have caused pain on our people, sponsored kidnapping rings, sponsored kidnapping gangs in Amazonia to kidnap and torture our people and extort money from them, claiming that they are self-defense volunteers, just so that they should turn the people against their own movement. For them, they thought we will kill this thing and we'll get rewarded with government positions. They are waiting. They are still waiting, yeah? A good lot of them. Callistus Fugentry, your own luck just came because your minister died and Paul Biya is hypnotized, cannot appoint anymore. That's why you are acting minister forever. And my brother, how do you call his name? The fruit Jonathan Majigni. How the market? Is it coming? Or when will it come? Or all this calumny against your own people was for Deputy Director General of some obscure structure. There are many of them for Tabotendo too, who is waiting to become inside there, to get inside there. Or those who are waiting to become Prime Minister. Vraiment de Didier. It's sad. Our people need to learn. They need to learn. We tell them every day, but they take it lightly. That's why the citizens of La République du Cameroun, in every angle, in all spheres, don't hesitate whenever they have the opportunity to remind you, this 1.5 to 2% of lost souls who continue to hang on La République du Cameroun, that you don't belong. If you're doubting, look at even just Samuel Eto'o's feast. Just Samuel Eto'o's feast. That one too now. That's taking his fake food. And you see, when you see Boris Berthold come down and say, hey, le scoop de la matinée de jeudi, aucun anglophone parmi l'équipe dirigeante de la fake food chassé au profit des Bassa. Now you see, they are interested in talking about, they want to criticize Samuel Eto'o's feast. Don't think that Boris Berthold, Boris Berthold was publishing this trash likes the people of the Southern Cameroon said, oh, no. They have an objective. But, of course, we are the things, I said things because they see us as objects that they use as ping pong, left and right, to settle their scores, not because they care about us. That's why it says, aucun anglophone parmi l'équipe dirigeante de l'Africa Food. Of course, there's so many of them who were bothering themselves, killing themselves, running heads over heels, Eto'o, this and that. Eto'o had shown his colors even. So he says, la situation de la gestion est très préoccupante. Let me even just go to the group as he says. He's reading the names to say, okay, see where they come. That they are all Bassa, but like I said, his interest is not that there's no Southern Cameroonian here. His interest is that all the people are Bassa. Tribalism is their other name. Tribalism is the middle name of La République du Cameroun. It is a sport that they enjoy so much. That's what he says. President of FECAFOOT, Samuel Eto'o, Bassa. Director of Cabinet, Camille Lowe, Bassa. Secretary General, Mandong Isaac Noé, Bassa. Accountant ou agent comptable, de John Amel, Bassa. Director marketing, that's marketing director, Benjamin Pondi Bassa, financial director or director technique, Etombi Annette Bassa, Douala Bassa, director of human resources, director des ressources humaines, Ngornouk Hortense Bassa. In fact, the thing is so long and so it says that it's a list that will not end. But what it's trying to say here, don't even kill yourself. Because as Southern Cameroonians, we have told our people, you don't have to belong to these structures because we don't belong. And because you are heady, you keep wanting to stick your neck into the whole thing. That's why they remind you on a daily basis that you don't belong. So Samuel Eto'o, I don't know what you are drinking. I do feel my heart. Go and take one in my name. That's what people say in La République du Cameroun. Prends une à mon nom. If our people will not learn from all these instances, they will never learn. I mean, the 1.5 to maximum 2% who are lost souls. That is how you will stay and stay and stay until you end up like the fly that refuses to take advice and gets buried with the corpse in the grave. That said, folks, there is this message that was released at one point by the divisional officer of Bodmakak. And this Bodmakak is in the Nyong and Kele division of La République du Cameroun. The Nyong and Kele division of La République du Cameroun is mostly made up of a lot of Bassa people. Again, before I get into this, if you're just joining, I said at the start of this show that we have some Amazonians, some Southern Cameroonians in some places that are facing life-threatening situations. I mean, life-threatening situations. They need help. Sometimes they will call me because I'm accessible, because they can easily come on my show, get phone numbers, reach out to me to complain, to show me their situations. I have videos here that I've sent to me that just caused me to have tears running down my cheeks, because at some point, just on my own, I'm helpless. There's a lot of things I do when I can just do them. I don't need to come here. But if I come here, it's because on my own, I'm helpless. They really need help. And unfortunately, I can't broadcast these videos because they really make clear if any of the videos are broadcast, it will make their situation even worse. And as I said, the need is just for $1,380. Please look on the code. If it's PayPal, amberrelief2018@gmail.com. If it is Zelle, if you're in the United States and it's Zelle, amberrelief2018@gmail.com. If you don't want to have your name featured in any of in the accounts of any of these organizations, and you really feel like helping, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to receive your assistance and to channel it to these people. If you want to reach out to me, you can drop me a text on WhatsApp. Like I said, this will be WhatsApp only. You can drop me a text on WhatsApp and I will not hesitate to give you a call. And that phone number is 240-883-6443. Again, 240-883-6443. So you can drop me a text there if you really feel like assisting these people, but you don't want your name or anything concerning you to feature on the accounts of any of our Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle. I know that some people really don't want that. Please don't hesitate. Reach out to me and I will be more than happy to collect that donation from you to bring the assistance needed by these folks. It's really urgent. Please help. Please help. Please help. I know it's possible. I know we can do it. So, folks, let's do it. So, I was talking about this release. This release, I know it's old. You must have seen it because it was out since the 23rd of October 2024. That's almost about 2 months ago that this release was, that this message was reviewed on social media and was, of course, issued by the DO of Bodmakak in the Nyong and Kele division of La République du Cameroun. And it was addressed to all the traditional chiefs and he said it was a message porté. I'll just go over it because I'd like us to talk a bit about it as we end this show. It says honneur. Il said sous-préfet arrondissement Bord-Macaque, tout chef traditionnel arrondissement Bord-Macaque, and he says message porté du 23 octobre 2024, that's 23rd of October 2024. Honneur vous demandez, stop, bien vouloir me faire tenir au plus tard vendredi 8 novembre 2024. Stop. That make sure that latest Friday the 8th of November 2024, you provide to me la liste de toute personne allogène installée dans vos territoires de commandement traditionnel. Wow. Toute personne allogène. Toute personne allogène. That's all people who are not indigenous from this village. They talk about a Cameroon that is one and indivisible. And these are people within their so-called country. But now a divisional officer is telling traditional chiefs that in your various villages, make sure latest Friday the 8th of November, send to me the list of everyone who is in your village who is not an indigenous from that village. In a country saying that national unity is a reality. In the country saying they are one and indivisible. What a shame. Let's even continue. So, honneur, vous demandez, stop, bien vouloir me faire tenir, stop. Let's go back to the text. Stop. Liste toute personne allogène installée dans vos territoires de commandement traditionnel. Stop. Vous mettrez accent particulièrement sur main-d'œuvre ouvrière exerçant dans des différentes plantations cacaoyères de vos ressorts territoriaux. Did you hear that? So, it says, emphasis has to be laid on specifically those who are working in the cocoa plantations. You know why? Because a lot of those who have escaped, from the southern Cameroons, both from the southern and northern zones, and gone to La République du Cameroon, are in most of these remote villages working in plantations, doing slavery in plantations, and have sung here morning, afternoon, evening, go back home. Better die home with your people than transforming yourself into a slave in the hands of the very people who are torturing you, the hands of the very people who are at the origin of your challenges. Very painful. And it continues. Les listes complètes accompagnées des photocopies des cartes nationales d'identité des intéressés sont attendues à la sous-préfecture de Bord-Macaque tous les jours ouvrables avant 15h30 minutes. Stop. Urgence et importance hautement signalée. Stop et fin. Did you hear that? So, check on those people. Bring their names. Make sure you get them to give you photocopies of their national identity cards that you attach and send to us. This is what we call mapping. Mapping. This is how genocide happens. They map people from specific areas in a specific locality so that when they want to do what they want to do, it will become very easy. They don't face any challenges. They just go ahead and do it. When I come and talk about this thing here, people say it's being alarmist. This have been out for a while and I waited. You hear, if those who really say they are so concerned for our people will say a word, I've not heard anything. That's why I'm coming back with this one here. And that's why I'm trying to call on our people, and I've said it over and over, who are in remote villages in La République du Cameroon, get out of those places while there is still time. Get out of those places while you still have your two legs and your two eyes that you can see the direction that you are headed to. Get out of those places the fastest possible. I've said this and I continue to say. I'll repeat it here, folks. I'm so concerned about the safety of our civilian population in the southern Cameroons. That's why all of my focus has always been about ensuring their safety wherever they may be. I'd like to thank everyone for being part of this show. But before I go, let's share this thought. You see, folks, in our liberation movement, we have been misled a lot. We allowed ourselves to be misled by people who have no idea how this whole liberation movement got started, who have exactly no idea what it takes to get to where we want to go to, who have just no idea the level of sacrifice we need to put in order to attain this objective, who have no idea what it takes to put together resources to attain this lofty objective, who have no idea what the value of a human life is. And so they could just say any day, anytime, anyhow, at will, take that one out, take that one out, crush this one, do this to that one. We must do everything possible to make sure that we are listening to each other very carefully, understanding what they are saying, so we know exactly where they are coming from, so we know exactly what course of action to take in dealing with such people as we prosecute our liberation movement going forward. Because when the world is made to be idiot-proof, the world will become overpopulated with idiots. And when the world becomes overpopulated with idiots, it is perdition. There's nothing else that will happen. The only thing that you should expect is destruction, is failure, is perdition. And we have faced a lot of challenges in this movement because of this. Let us get out from this slumber. Let's get up from sleep and let's focus on the real things. Let's focus on liberating our land. But by all means, let's take time to ponder on the approach that we need at this point in time to put together all our resources, to pull all our resources together so we're able to easily kick out La République du Cameroon from our land. So I want to thank each and every one of you folks, and until we meet again, have a nice time.